Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio. Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Hey, this is a week where Godzilla and King Kong are facing off in theaters.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
And on your telly if you have HBO Max.
It's a brave new world.
It's new and exciting, and it's looking like it's shaping up to be the biggest box office hit in a while, which I guess maybe doesn't mean a ton.
Right.
But it means something. I think people are ready for this.
Sure, like escapism.
Yeah, just something big and dumb and furry. So with that, we thought, hey, let's take a trip back in the time machine, and we revisited a nostalgic favorite of mine and a never before seen for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say first visited for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is 1976's King Kong, the remake of the original film that was a pretty big deal in the mid 70s.
Yeah, I knew this existed, right? I've actually never seen the original either, but I'll probably watch it tonight now after having seen this. But I knew this existed and was kind of a big thing, but I don't know. I never saw it on TV. I never somehow completely missed it. If it came out in 76, I was born in 80, so I don't know, didn't line up for me.
Well, I'm very curious what this conversation will be like. This is one of those ones where I suggested it and I was like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this. I'm a pretty big King Kong fan. I have been ever since I was a little kid. So a big part of my fondness for the character comes from this movie. So, I figure, hey, let's watch this. We'll talk about it. We can talk about the making of this one. I suspect we'll end up talking about other aspects. The previous version, the one that came after, and all the various and sundry. We'll just be throwing poop all over the place and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we are watching, like I said, the 1976 version of King Kong. There is a super-sized TV edit. We are not watching that one. We're watching the regular, just a hair over 2 hours theatrical cut. So if you want to watch along with us, you can. If not, you can just listen. Hopefully we keep it interesting. But let's take a short break, and then we will watch the movie right after this. And we are back, and we are ready to go. Are you queued up, Brian?
I am.
Okay, so we will hit play on 3 as usual. We'll go 1, 2, 3, play. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, play. This is a Paramount picture, Brian.
Yeah, which I was surprised because I think of King Kong as Universal.
Which is funny because really there's only one Universal King Kong movie, and that's the Peter Jackson one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's RKO, isn't it?
It was RKO who owned the original rights. Or rather, they released the original film, and the rights situation surrounding King Kong is just ridiculous because certain rights were held by so-and-so, certain rights were held by so-and-so, and so I think where the rights reside now is at Universal because they purchased them from the son of the director of the original film, Marion C. Cooper. And so even now, the legendary Warner Brothers King Kong movies are made under license from Universal.
Okay.
But it's the rights story is ridiculous and complicated, and we'll talk about that more.
Yeah. I read up about all of that. It was kind of interesting.
Right here, Brian. Here's Jack O'Halloran.
Yeah.
Second time in 2 weeks we're watching a Jack O'Halloran movie.
Oh, funny.
he was of course Non in the Superman films, and
wow, I did not make that connection. He looked very distinct, and I was like, has he been in like a Bond film or something?
Yeah,
But,
he kind of looks like Jaws, right? The Richard
Yeah.
Kiel. Now the character that O'Halloran plays, Joe Perko, in the original, the first treatment of the script, he was supposed to be the male lead, the romantic lead character.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think Jack O'Halloran would have played him, but they went and changed the character, and they added in Jack Prescott here, played by Jeff Bridges, and so that changed sort of the direction of the story. We'll talk about that a little bit more, though. Mm-hmm. Jeff Bridges was 26.
Oh, I kept meaning to look that up. I was very curious. Yeah, Jeff Bridges. I like Jeff Bridges. And then, you know what? I got to admit, I was like, wow, that guy reminds me a lot of Charles Grodin. Because I know him more as curmudgeonly middle-aged Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
And he actually looks a lot like that one guy from Super Troopers.
He does, yes.
Right? But yeah, he's great. I don't really know a lot of his early stuff. When he was probably at the peak of his powers. So it's just kind of interesting to see the type of character he plays here, You know
what's funny is I think of Charles Grodin in three flavors. There's King Kong, there's Midnight Run, and there's Beethoven.
You know what? See, yeah, I know the Midnight Run, Beethoven, Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, so I had, like we were saying, I had no context for this film. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into. And I was really interested because I thought, this came out in 1976. Star Wars comes out in 77, so not including Jaws. I was like, this was like a blockbuster from an era I'm not super familiar with. So, like, what does a big blockbuster look like from a different time? What does Independence Day look like in 1976? And so I was kind of excited to watch it, thinking of it that way. And I have to say, I quite enjoyed it. I thought it feels big, dumb fun in a good way. And even that opening shot, where you have the crane lifting up in the air and then the camera pans down and follows like a guy through the fence. And I was like, this reminds me of sort of like Spielberg-y filming. And obviously that's my he'd only made Sugarland and Jaws at this point. But obviously he's a student of people from the past. And
they had offered it to him, by the way, this film. They had offered it to Spielberg. He turned it down.
Yeah.
Real quick, actually, before you say anything, I in terms of the casting that they list here, I think it's fascinating that they go Bridges, Grodin, introducing Jessica Lange, and that's it. They don't list any of the other cast in the opening sequence.
Huh. I wonder why that is. Is that maybe like a contract thing, or?
I wonder. I think it tells you something about who was the biggest star other than King Kong, which was Dino De Laurentiis.
right.
Dino De Laurentiis presents, and he was. I've talked on the show in the past about my sort of. I'm not a big fan of sort of the big personality that he brought to his films, but there's no doubt that this movie exists because of him. He was kind of, he was sort of almost like the Salkinds we talked about a couple weeks ago. These sort of showman producers.
Right.
Irwin Allen type,
Yeah.
And so I think, and Lorenzo Semple Jr., by the way, he created the TV Batman series.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah. It's funny because people point to the Batman connection to say, oh, the 1970s King Kong was very campy, like the old Batman. And I'm like, it's not, though. It's
not at all.
Right. It plays straight within its world. I mean, there's humor in it.
Yeah.
But it takes itself seriously. I actually think tonally it's more similar to like the 1978 Superman.
Sure.
Where it has fun within itself, but it's not ever laughing at the conceit of the movie.
I feel like this feels like a Roland Emmerich joint.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Like just in that sort of vein again, where it's serious within its own world, but it's also got humor and it is larger than life and doesn't mind being silly occasionally, but it takes itself seriously. I don't know. It feels like it's from that same sort of, or I should say Roland Emmerich feels like from that.
Right.
Yeah.
And John Gillerman, who directed this, by the way, he did The Towering Inferno just a couple of years earlier.
And I've never seen that, but after watching this and appreciating his directing style, it made me want to check that out.
I would recommend The Towering Inferno. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what a cast in that movie, right? I mean, that's it's funny how with hindsight the sort of the caricature of these movies takes over, right? Like, oh, those cheesy 70s disaster movies. But I'm like,
Right.
The Towering Inferno stars Steve McQueen and Paul Newman and Faye Dunaway. I mean, it's John Williams did the score, you know?
Right. Right.
This actor who plays the captain here, that's John Randolph. He's one of those, hey, that guy's.
Oh man, that's Clark Griswold's dad from Christmas Vacation. I was like, what? I recognize him immediately. His voice.
He was also the first actor to play Frank Costanza on Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, I've seen that clip.
Yeah, before Jerry Stiller. Like when Jerry Stiller was cast in that role, they reshot John Randolph's stuff.
Right. A whole different take.
What I know John Randolph from, of course, he was the head of the Presidential Commission in the third Planet of the Apes film.
Oh,
So
nice.
That's what I would know if you ever end up watching that movie.
Yeah. Can you imagine actually trying to eat in this scenario, by the way? So they're on this rocking boat, and the boat has this lip that sticks up around the whole thing, but the plates are just sliding around so the lip can catch them. But pictures of tea and stuff.
There's another, hey, that guy, Ed Lauder.
Yep, I definitely was like, wait. Why do I know that guy?
And Rene Auberjonois is Roy Bagley over there. He was on Benson, and Star Trek fans would know him. Of course, he was Odo on Deep Space Nine. He just passed away actually a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think looking at Grodin again right here, I would be forgiven for questioning it for a minute.
Right.
He is very Grodin-y, but like he looks so different from the person I know.
It's
From
true.
the movies I've seen.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now, I think in terms of the context in which this film came to exist, right? It was controversial from the moment it was announced, because even back then, remaking King Kong, right? The original King Kong was it was viewed as like hallowed ground,
Sort of like Wizard of Oz or something.
Yeah, right. Which to me, I always think I'm amused by that because. Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla existed, and there's a Japanese film called King Kong Escapes, and these were terrible production value wise. Like they were not like prestige pictures, right? Mm-hmm. So the legacy of Kong had already sort of been soiled a little bit. There's even a sequel to the original movie called Son of Kong, which is all. I mean, it's not very good,
Right.
So now we think of it like, oh well, yeah, you remake, like that's just what you do.
Right.
But back then it was somewhat, like I said, it was controversial and it was unheard of. And the way the movie came about, Dino De Laurentiis said, "Oh, my daughter, she had a picture of King Kong up in her bedroom, and that's what gave me the idea." And I called bullshit on that.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I was like, really? In 1970 something, your little girl had a poster of 1933 King Kong?
Exactly, right?
Maybe. I don't know, but it made me raise an eyebrow.
It seems unlikely. And the reason I think it's more likely to be unlikely is that Universal was mounting their own competing King Kong remake. Right. And the connective thread there is Michael Eisner, who was, at the time, he was at ABC.
Right.
But he was friends with Barry Diller, who was head of Paramount, and he was also friends with Sid Sheinberg, who was at Universal. And to both of them in separate conversations, he's like, it'd be pretty good, a King Kong remake.
Right.
And so both of them separately were like, and they both tried to get the rights, and they both thought they had the rights. Right. Which is what led to this whole complicated rigmarole with who gets to do what. But they were two competing productions announced at the same time. So De Laurentiis announced, Paramount goes to De Laurentiis, who he had a contract with them. They're like, we want you to take charge of this. And so he said, okay, we're going to do this big King Kong picture. And then Universal says, we're doing The Legend of King Kong. Mm-hmm. And so De Laurentiis says, fine, our movie is called King Kong, The Legend Reborn. So it's just them, again, they're just throwing poop at each other, right?
Yeah.
And it essentially, it was a race to, and by the way, the Universal people it turns out they didn't have like a signed contract with RKO, so what they did was they got the rights to the novelization of the movie.
Ha! I hadn't read that. That's
Yeah.
that is clever.
That was in the public domain by then.
Okay.
So it's some shenanigans, right?
That is, give that guy a raise who thought of that. That's clever.
I remember reading that novelization too when I was a kid. It was by Delos Lovelace. I remember that.
Huh.
So it was basically a race to get this one into production first and get as much in the can as possible so that Universal had less of a leg to stand on, and like essentially there was like lawsuits going back and forth. And what ended up happening is basically Barry Diller, who again he was head of Paramount, he basically told De Laurentiis, "I need you to settle this, like come to an agreement, because like I want to have a cordial business relationship with Universal."
Right.
And so essentially they reached this arrangement where Paramount would make this movie, and then Universal would have the right to make another remake no less than 18 months later.
Right.
And I mean, that obviously that didn't happen right away, but it did happen eventually in 2005. So almost what, 30 years later?
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. It's funny too. I had this thought where, think you're Michael Eisner, and apparently he was watching the original on television and thought, they should make a new one of these. And I just thought, it's just amazing to be the guy who is watching TV and has that thought, and then a year later, you look at these enormous sets, and they built a almost $2 million Kong, that barely worked, and that all just comes from like you're the guy who can sort of sniff that idea into existence.
And it's hilarious because he had no dog in the fight.
Right.
At that moment. I think like by the time this movie came out, he was at Paramount.
Okay.
But he wasn't when it all started.
Right.
And you can see why Universal would have been in the game, right? Because Jaws either had just come out or was about to come out. Either way, they knew it was going to be a big hit.
Right.
So they want the next Jaws, and you can see why other studios would be. I mean, it's the same as like not that much has changed, right? Because it's an IP, it's a pre-sold IP. And what's hilarious to me is De Laurentiis was like, when you watch Jaws, nobody cries when the shark dies. When you see Kong, everybody's going to cry when Kong dies.
Right.
And I'm like, if you think you should cry when the shark dies.
Right.
You're watching the movie wrong.
Yeah, no, he seems like a big carnival barker type of personality. And even like the tagline for this made me laugh, where it was the most exciting original motion picture event of all time.
Right.
And you're like, what?
So when we prune away the hyperbole, I think you get the motion picture.
Right, I know.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Original. I'm like, it takes balls to call your remake of King Kong original.
Yeah. Now this, so obviously is a different sort of take on who this woman is, right?
That's right.
From the original. What's it originally?
So in the original, the character is named Ann Darrow. She's of course played by Fay Wray, right? And the original is set in the 30s during the Depression. So she's just starving, and the Grodin parallel character in the original is a film producer.
Okay. So Peter Jackson's is a lot more faithful.
Peter Jackson, like the Peter Jackson movie, is a excavation of that original film, like in exacting detail.
Oh, interesting.
So everything that Jackson did is predicated on what happened in the original. This version is using that as a jump off point and reshifting our focus to the mid 70s. And to be honest, Brian, I think that's why, given the choice, I prefer this remake to Jackson's.
Yeah, I don't think it's such a bad thing. And I when we were talking earlier, sort of like the blasphemy of remaking it and whatnot, I can imagine being a kid in the 70s and being like, well, what can modern technology do now? Right. I'm sure King Kong is great, by its own merits, the original, but if you were in the 70s and things had advanced as much as they had, I'd be like really curious to see what people could pull off now,
Right.
The spectacle.
I do find it amusing, by the way. We just saw where, they put Jessica Lange on the thing, and right away it's like, oh, I'd better take her clothes off, see if she's okay,
Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, I guess he was checking her label, but when I was watching it last night, I was like, what is he doing?
Well, I mean, Jack O'Halloran, literally the captain's like, get out of here. Like, because he's trying to, like...
Right. Well, it's funny because he looks at the label and he says something, and he goes, oh, Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you looked at my shirt, it would probably be like Vietnam, Like, it's not like... I don't know, that really is great detective work, but...
I do find it amusing that seems to be a trope of movies from this era, where you have horny guys trying to sneak a peek. And
right.
Because in the first Superman movie, there's something similar with Valerie Perrine, where Larry Hagman is the military guy. He's like, I'd better give her a chest massage,
Oh, right, yeah.
So Jessica Lange, probably one of my earliest childhood crushes based on this movie.
Dude, I did not know I had a crush on Jessica Lange till last night. I mean, goodness. Yeah, she's beautiful.
And it's funny because this was like her first major acting gig.
Oh, wow. So she was a model previously, right?
She was a model, and they had been... It's the entire... It's interesting because the story as initially constructed was... there was no character... There was no Dwan character. There was a female photographer on the boat who... Kind of similar to Brie Larson in Kong Skull Island, right? And I think what I read is they had somebody like kind of a young Candice Bergen in mind. Or I guess back then it would just be Candice Bergen because...
Right.
And they moved some of the pieces around, and then they ended up at this was a Lorenzo Semple idea of like, how about they just find her in this life raft, and De Laurentiis was actually against it because he thought it was too unbelievable. And it was, I think it was the director Gillerman who ended up breaking the tie. He was like, he liked the sort of the whimsical idea. And it serves as like a bridge from the realistic world of the beginning of the movie to the fantasy of King Kong. That they just kind of find her.
I mean, the details of it are a little sketchy, but I didn't find it that far-fetched.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you read between the lines, she was basically on her way to Hong Kong, and she was probably going to act in adult movies.
Yeah, I found that a little surprising.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they had been auditioning a whole bunch of people. I think Deborah Raffin, Cher, Barbara Streisand, like all, kind of the usual 70s.
Sure.
And they weren't finding anybody. And basically, I think it was Barry Diller who was like, "Hey, you should." He told De Laurentiis, "You should give her a look." And he didn't want to, but kind of just as obviously the money people, just to play nice. And it was actually she won over the director first, and then that's how she got the gig. But I mean, here's the problem. She's so good in this role as kind of this ditzy, kind of an airhead.
Which
damaged
was
her
surprising
career
to me, by the way. I didn't expect her to be that character when she showed up.
Right.
Yeah.
She did too good a job because it slowed down her career.
Oh, really?
Because people thought that's all she was.
Right.
So because she won an Oscar a couple of years later for Tootsie.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, because I at first I was like, oh, like I was getting a bit of a... She was kind of not annoying me, but I was like, oh, I just didn't expect this personality to show up in this movie. And then, but it occurred to me immediately, like I didn't blame her. I was like, she was totally directed to be like this.
Yes.
Yep. Like it's almost like the filmmakers thought this was like really attractive or something. It's like the impression I'm getting, because it's like basically her then the rest of the movie in these like cut off clothes, just running around bouncing, being like, "Aren't we having fun?"
It's tough because part of it is the film existed in this era when the expectation was for a female lead to have a little bit more to do than just show skin and scream.
Right.
And they're kind of like they add layers to her character, but she is to a large extent eye candy.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's like gratuitous shower scenes.
Yeah. You know?
It was funny. Well, we'll get to that scene, I guess. But when that happened and she got out and she's basically naked, I was like thinking someone was going to walk in or something. And then the scene just ended. I was like, oh, like, that's it.
It's so funny.
By the way, I was looking at her like, who does she remind me of? It was driving me crazy. You know who she looks like? She looks like Lily James. Or I should say Lily James looks kind of like her.
Oh man,
I kept seeing it. You know the from Baby Driver?
Yeah. I need to pull up. She does look like her. You're right. Yeah, I just pulled up her. Yeah,
their faces a little bit
very similar.
It took me a minute, and then when it hit, I was like, hey, yeah,
very similar. Yeah. Who played the young Jessica Lange in Big Fish?
Oh, I don't know. Man, Big Fish, that's a movie I need to revisit. I've seen Jessica Lange, by the way, on the Paramount lot, because she worked on American Horror Story. And I remember making eye contact with her once while she was dressed like a nun.
Yeah, if I saw Jessica Lange dressed as a nun, it would prompt confused reactions from me.
Oh, you know what? I never noticed her working on these clothes last night. I think there's this montage here. Mm-hmm. I was curious later because she keeps having these sort of like adorable outfits, and I was like, where did she get these on this boat?
Yeah.
And I must have been looking down or something where it's showing her actually retrofitting these shirts.
She's making her own ensembles.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, movie. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, this right here is what you're talking about, right?
Yes. This is.
Here's
so
just
funny.
it's Dwan showering.
Dwan, that kind of cracked me up too. That's kind of a funny.
That's such a movie conceit.
Yeah, her name is Dawn, but she thought she'd switch the A and the W to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
And so then when I started seeing it in closed captioning, and it's just like, Dwan, get over here. I just couldn't help it chuckle every time. It's such a funny.
Now, what's interesting to me is the we talked about how the movie makes sense for the most part within its own reality, and I think one of those things is you have them going over in an oil tanker, and that allows they don't go over looking for Kong, but it allows an explanation for how they're able to bring Kong back,
right,
because they've got this empty oil tank,
Mm-hmm. I thought. I mean, I'm obviously not super endeared to the first one because I haven't seen it. But I thought all the whatever updates they made kind of made sense, thinking they found this untapped oil resource right? I mean, I don't know. And I guess that kind of fit for the 70s too, right? When you had
gas
shortages.
Exactly. That's right in the middle of the petroleum shortage. Now here, this fog bank that covers the island, obviously that's a great way to account for the fact that in the age of radar and everything, how would we not see it? I do find it funny that they're like it's set up like this dangerous thing. We got to get through the fog bank, and it's pretty much just like, no, we just like go through it. Like, in the Peter Jackson film, when they go through the fog bank, it's this like 10-minute sequence of the ship just being racked from this way to that, and
right.
It's the Jackson film to me, like I appreciate it as this director's absolute love letter to his favorite movie.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that's always been a hurdle about his version of the film is, it's 3 hours long, the theatrical is even longer, the extended version. And I'm like, to me, there isn't 3 hours worth of story here.
Yeah, I was going to say you kind of feel every bit of that 3 hours.
Yeah,
not that there isn't fun to be had, but it's sort of like his first draft with every idea he had, but then he never whittled it down to its essential essence.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes this thing where I'm sure he's delighted by every single thing in there, but you become, as a viewer, a bit exhausted.
I think so, and I mean there's a simplicity to the story I mean, this version is a little over 2 hours. The original is about an hour 45. I feel like about 2-ish hours is what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because the broad strokes are there. Ship goes, they get the ape, bring him back. Ape does some stuff. Ape dies.
Yeah.
You know, do we need like 10 minutes in a spider pit as the crew is just picked apart by insects and stuff? Yeah, maybe not.
I will never forget those plants or insects or whatever it is. Those like things that go over their heads. Ugh. Yeah, and I don't think I've seen it since the theater, and I remember that.
I haven't seen it the whole way through. Nope.
Yeah.
Although
I will say, I mean, I'm not slamming on it. I'd be kind of curious to revisit it someday when I have the time. But I appreciate, after watching this, I appreciated the connection that Naomi Watts makes with Kong, like the whole sliding around on the ice scene. You know, this is just a little different. Like, she does get endeared to him eventually, but I really believed and enjoyed that connection from the Peter Jackson King Kong.
And to that point, I mean, I think that, you know, for as much as Jackson, you know, pays homage to the original film, that element, I think it is drawn from this version. Because it's very much not in evidence in the original cut. Like,
interesting.
Anne has no affinity for Kong.
Oh, see, I always thought that was the Kong story.
No. Yeah, so I mean, the idea here in this film, where when it culminates, you have our two lead characters who are devastated at Kong dying. I mean, that's from this.
Oh, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And I think it's reflective of where sort of culturally Kong was by then, right? I mean, this is in 1976, so you know you're looking at about several decades of the character being in the public eye, being a quote unquote good guy. There had been an animated series in the 60s, the King Kong show, where he's like friends with this, you know, he's like Lassie or something, you know, with this family, you know.
That's really funny,
right? And in Godzilla, in King Kong versus Godzilla, he's the good guy, you know.
Right.
So people had got like, it was like, no, well, Kong is nice. We like Kong. So it's reflective of where culturally the character was. But I also think, you know, the idea that you would not want to protect this amazing, unique creature, that's much more believable in a 1930s context. Whereas by the time we get to the 70s, and obviously the Bridges character, we know he's a little more progressive or whatever, but I mean, I think that's where people are at. Like, well, no, like, save it, for goodness sake, you know?
Right. Yeah. By the way, I looked up the Big Fish. It was Alison Lohman.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Which I can see also.
Oh, totally. Yeah. She really, they both played that role really well. So this is all Hawaii where they shot this stuff, and we talk about the scope of the movie. You know, this movie was a big deal at the time it came out. I mean, they put money into it,
right?
And you see it. Look at this shot. Look how beautiful it is, right?
Yeah, this film. I wondered if this would not feel as big to me because I'm so conditioned by the movies I grew up with and beyond.
Yeah,
but no, this felt like a big movie.
Yeah,
I
mean, that's kind of you know, again, you had the two Japanese produced films that they were chintzy. It was clearly a guy in a shitty ape costume. But they wanted to treat this like a big deal, and I think it was perceived that way. And we, you know, we haven't mentioned the score. I mean, John Barry, who did the music. You know, we're watching this on mute, and I kid you not, like through the scene sequences where there's no dialogue, you just hear music. I can hear the music even on mute.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's so interesting how John Barry brought such a John Barry feeling. Like, you can imagine the Jerry Goldsmith version of this.
Right.
Which would have been good. I'm not saying it would, but it would have been. It wouldn't have been this.
Yeah, like the grandeur.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. I love that moment, by the way, when Charles Grodin, he's like sort of semi-serious all the time, but then when Bridges, he's like, He's like, I'm getting out of the boat. And he wants to pose for that picture. So he's trying to make it look like this momentous moment
Right.
of him getting out of the boat.
I like the Grodin character. I think he's interesting.
Me too.
He to me, he evokes a little bit of like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
In that there's a little bit of camp, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't help but like him, you know? Look at this shot right here. Look at this.
Gorgeous.
Look at how small Jessica Lange is in the foreground and this enormous...
Huge, yeah.
Right? I mean, you get the scope, and I think stuff like that we take for granted because nowadays stuff like this, a lot of it would be digitally rendered and whatever.
You're so right.
You know?
Yeah. They'd probably be at like a creek right here, but everything else would have been added digitally.
Yeah, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But there's just something about being in a real setting, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You know, and that's the thing, too. I've wondered this about Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, because that movie is a little gray for my taste, the color palette. And I wondered if that had something to do with just putting this gauzy thing over the whole frame for all the visual effects throughout. And I mean, I don't know. It could have just been... I have no idea why. But
Yeah.
I did wonder, and I thought this when I was watching this last night, where you don't have any of those masks that you can use,
right,
or the digital enhancements, I wondered then, since everything looks so, tangible, would Kong look ridiculous? You know, because when you make a movie and it's mostly CGI now, and then your CGI creature and your CGI cities, it all kind of blends together.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if he would stand out in this. And I think to some degree, maybe a little bit, but for the most part, I was able to squint and put myself back in 1976 and appreciate it. You know, this must have felt big.
I think that's a key thing what you just said, and especially when watching this movie from a 2021 context, is you do I mean, it's no different to me than watching the 1933 film.
Right. Where
you watch it and you're like, well, that's obviously a model, it's obviously stop motion.
Right.
But you have to turn off that part of it and just be like, in that context, how did this play?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think for me, like I don't have trouble putting this one alongside the original. I'm like, look, that was reflective of the state of the art in 1933. This reflected the state of the art in 1976. And then the Jackson one is the state of the art of 2005. I think to me it's almost cool. Like we have these benchmarks.
Wow, you're so right. Yeah.
Like, let's see how we do King Kong now.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a moment of this is what special effects technology looks like right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah.
Now the wall I think we just saw that was like a matte painting, but like the closer shots of the wall that was all they had to build that thing for real.
Yeah,
on
it's
a
crazy
soundstage.
Yeah.
See the Grodin character. So he's Fred Wilson here, and he's much more of a heel character than Carl Denham, who's the movie producer, who's played by Robert Armstrong, the original Jack Black in the Jackson one. A little bit more sympathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think with this, the movie is very much setting its marker as we are meant to be on the side of the long-haired hippie
right.
and against the evil oil guy. I mean, it's pretty it's not subtle about that,
Yeah, it made me laugh at the end with the Kong reveal that he's housed underneath a huge like gas pump.
Yeah.
So now this is like similar to the original, like there's people native to the island and they like sort of like a sacrifice thing, and then they want the newcomer to is this all kind of similar?
Yeah, it's in that same vein. They see the blonde.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, "Oh, hey, let's sacrifice. Let's mix it up a little bit."
Yeah, yeah.
And on the one hand, you can be like, "Well, that's kind of racist. Like, oh, the white woman is more desirable."
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, sure.
Right. But on the other hand, you could be like, they probably the people here are like, "Hey, why should we sacrifice our own people?"
I was just thinking that. Yeah, it's like, hey, we can give them to this person. Yeah.
Yeah. the tribal stuff obviously doesn't particularly sit right, you know.
Yeah, feels a little uncomfortable.
I think, and when we talk about the way they did it in Peter Jackson's, you know, he cast the natives as being sort of otherworldly, almost like we can't. They're nondescript,
Right? Sure.
ethnically, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only way to do it, you know.
Right.
It is interesting to me, Brian, that in Kong Skull Island, they turned it on its tail entirely, right? So, I mean, here you have this idea that we've got this wall to keep Kong out, and we have to, you know, sacrifice people to keep him away from us. But in Kong Skull Island, the natives live in peace with Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Kong protects them.
Right.
And I think, again, it's sort of just reflective of how sensibilities change.
Yeah.
You know, because in that film you have, if you remember, John C. Reilly is like the American airman who has been living among them for decades.
Right.
And he's like, these guys get it, you know?
Right. Man, so that's a real wall, huh?
Yeah, for the except for that one long shot that we saw.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Like
it's
the
a real.
exterior. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I think this was budgeted at like 12 million. I think it shot up to 16, 19, something like that. Which, when you think about it, like 19 million, 1975, $76.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of change.
Yeah. Let's see. What did it say? I think I said final budget, I guess, of 24 million, and it made around 90.
There you go. See, and that right there, right? There's this falsehood that has just hung around this movie that it came out and it was this big flop.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't.
90 million in 1976.
Yeah. It was a massive hit. I always tell people this. I'm like, it was not a flop. It was not even a critical flop. Critics, for the most part, were okay with it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, actually. I saw on Rotten Tomatoes it had like a 50-something.
Yeah, sounds about
But when I looked up the top critics, they were largely positive, and I wondered if some of those negative ones came from people looking back on it.
It's retrospectively, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's always like, it's weird how these narratives spring up, and then they tend to overtake the movie itself. And I mean, nobody's calling this, The Magnificent Ambersons, right?
Right.
But I think for what it is attempting to be, I think it succeeds very admirably at it.
Yeah, I think so too. By the way, just in terms of budgets and box office, so this budget of 24 made 90 million. And Jaws, which came out 18 months earlier, had a $9 million budget and made 470 million.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think Kong's place in the timeline as just after Jaws, just before Star Wars.
Yep.
Yep.
Star Wars is 6 months away from this.
Like,
they had no idea what was coming.
They had no idea. Nobody had any idea, right? And isn't that something like to some extent, Kong was trying to chase the Towering Inferno / Jaws zeitgeist. And what was we talked about this before. What was the next thing? Something nobody could have imagined.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. And, it was interesting, too. We can point it out a little bit later, but some of the visual effects, I couldn't believe that Star Wars was just months away. And, I mean, I don't hold it against this movie. I mean, they were doing the best they could, but it's like ILM was inventing these things while this movie was being released. But it is an incredible leap. Visual effects wise, right? I mean, there's shots of Kong where you can literally see through him,
right?
You know, but you're like, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. But like, just then knowing that you're going to have TIE fighters and the Millennium Falcon whizzing past you, or that, everyone speaks that opening shot of A New Hope where the Star Destroyer goes overhead. I mean, thinking of if I was a kid and I had seen this movie and then 6 months later I saw that ship going over my head, my brain would have exploded.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we always hear people talk about seeing that the first time, and neither of us had that experience of things used to be one way, but now they're this way. Yeah. Because for us, it was always that way.
Yep.
you know? Now this right here, you talk about a stick pin in time when you have your sexy leading lady smoking.
You know what's funny? I told my brother last night that I was going to watch this. It's from the 70s. And he goes, "Oh, tell me how many people smoke." And so then I took a picture of this moment and sent it to him, and he was laughing. But it was surprisingly not as many. But I agree with you. Yeah, when it's like your lead. Usually now if people smoke at all, which doesn't happen, it's the villains.
Right.
And it's just funny watching these older films where all the heroes smoke.
Yeah. And you tend not to see your leading ladies do it, especially.
Right.
These days.
Yeah, it feels like almost a noir type thing. If it was a leading lady, right?
What's funny? Like I'm looking at this shot right here, right? And I think it's Wilson who's smoking. You see the smoke in the air, you know. From a cinematography perspective, you can appreciate the texture that having smoke in the frame adds, you know.
I was just reading. I'm on Facebook. I would suggest this to anybody. There's a group called Cruise Stories.
Oh, nice.
And it's a lot of people, and people ask like, "Hey, anybody work on Beetlejuice?" And people are like, "Yeah," and they'll tell stories and stuff. And someone had made mention about how now with digital filmmaking and everything is so clean that they almost have to over smoke sets, and it like makes people sick. I just thought that was a really interesting, weird nuance, modern nuance.
Yeah. So this character Jack Prescott, who Jeff Bridges played in the original film, he's the first mate. He's Jack Driscoll. In the Jackson one, they made him the playwright. He's the guy who wrote the script.
Right.
But I think to me, there's no better indication of what period of our history this film represents than having Jack Prescott be the main character. Because he's the primatologist, he's the academic, he's the sexy professor,
right?
Basically,
yeah.
Which is my nickname, by the way.
Yeah, right.
For myself.
Wait, I don't know why I'm laughing. Yes, I know.
Yeah, no, you're laughing knowingly.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
I'm laughing that you even had to explain that.
Now this too, where Dwan is left alone and the natives just kind of swoop right by.
Every time you say Dwan, every time I see Dwan written out, it just makes me chuckle. But yes.
Where the natives just kind of row over and she just happens to be there. I'm like, could have made that a little harder.
I would have been tempted to add an ADR yoink. It's pretty, yeah, it happens pretty easily. But it's, yeah, whatever. I did laugh too when they somehow left like a necklace behind. I was like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But whatever.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges, man. You know what's funny? Now he's kind of in his like grisly later years, and you think of him like True Grit, and on the Conan O'Brien podcast, Dana Carvey does this funny impersonation. He's like, "Oh, working with the Coen brothers," kind of a thing. And he's like, "But I don't know why he talks like that. He's from Malibu." Which cracks me up. I think about that all the time now.
Somebody online pointed out that Jeff Bridges is in this King Kong. John Goodman is in Kong Skull Island. So now we need Steve Buscemi to be in a King Kong movie to complete the Lebowski trinity.
Make it happen.
Somebody needs to make that happen.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, she just happens to,
This feels very, yeah, it almost feels like we're watching a stage play.
Right?
Yeah, in its simplicity.
They're like, I mean, maybe have her on deck, and maybe, have him sneak. You can imagine that being a whole set piece.
Yeah, where a face emerges from a shadow, and you're like, oh, she's
right.
alone. Yeah, and then, yeah. You don't see a lot of pipe smokers these days, do you?
That's how you signal that the person is kind of a brainiac.
Yeah, right.
Like a cigar is kind of like a blue collar working class person.
Uh-huh.
And especially if it's like a chewed up like half stogie.
Yeah, like a oil rigger.
Yeah.
Like a Bruce Willis in Armageddon type.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then a pipe person is the one who could tell you why you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
And bad things are coming.
So we get the shorthand.
Yeah.
See, now I need you to include a pipe-smoking puppy in some future script.
Actually, I was going to do a whole joke where they're trying to follow this thing that's emitting bubbles.
Okay.
And so they're running down a hallway following the bubbles. And then in my first draft, I wrote that then they see this professor type with like a tweed jacket and he's smoking a bubble pipe. So they know they've gone the wrong way. Like, oh. And then they have to go back. But we couldn't do that.
Oh.
Yeah. I think bubble pipes are funny.
I agree with you. I always think of Bart with like the ascot and the bubble pipe.
Totally. That's must be where I get that love of bubble pipes, I'm certain. I can't explain it, but I like this scene.
No, I think it's really well done. I think the music is so
Her
good.
acting?
And yeah, she's been
sort of drugged up a
obviously.
little bit. And it's like, and all of these actors and the camera, like this, look at the scope of that.
Yeah.
With that wall. There was something just really mesmerizing about this sequence.
Yeah, I think it does a nice job of building up to, we're almost an hour in and we haven't seen the title character.
Right.
And so I think, what you were saying about like the special effects, you kind of got to squint past it a little bit. I think the Kong suit, I think it works for the most part, but it looks like a guy in a suit.
Yeah. I think nowadays, by the way, I feel like for context for people who aren't watching along, this is with the Jessica Lange character sort of being carried out with a whole group of people and then being presented in front of the wall where Kong will...
It's a bridal ceremony in essence.
Yeah, and it's just epic, and there's just huge... it makes me think of like older movies too, like Close Encounters and stuff, when they go to the desert and they just have like hundreds and hundreds of extras in this huge widescreen frame, and there's just something so captivating and impressive about it.
Now here's the thing, and I can't say I'm the person who thought of this. I think it might have been Patton Oswalt, but he's like, if your whole deal is you don't want Kong to get in, why would you build a massive Kong-sized gate into your wall?
Right.
You could just build a little door and just wheel out your person.
That is hilarious.
Right?
That is hilarious.
This big old thing, you need like 5 people to pull the log lock,
That I did like the way they incorporated though the oil. That's what the locals use the oil for, is to sort of grease the door handle.
Yeah. And I think there's obviously some kind of social commentary in the fact that basically it's the pursuit of oil that leads us on this whole journey.
Yeah, right.
And all these lives are lost, everything just because of that,
Right. Yeah. I didn't actually think about that. Sorry, movie.
Lorenzo Semple talked about how, when he was brought on to write it, the 2 directives he was given by De Laurentiis was, 1, it should be set in the present day, and 2, it should culminate with the World Trade Center instead of the Empire State Building.
Right.
And he was on board for both of those. And part of the reason he was like, that way we could separate ourselves from that original and we would disinvite unfair comparisons.
Yeah.
Which in theory, that sounds good.
Yeah. I just because I have no skin in this game and I'm just sort of observing, I understand it. But if I was like devoted to the original, I could see being like, come on, that's like a major detail.
But what's funny is I think maybe just because I did see this as a kid, for me, that's always what I think is a way you should mount a remake, is not try to just strenuously emulate every aspect of the original, but be like, okay,
right.
what are the key aspects, and then how can we change it in a way that it's doing something different?
Right.
And that's tricky, obviously, because we tend to see remakes that change superficial elements for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like, high level, it's like, what is it saying about our current moment?
Yeah, and I'm just looking it up now. The World Trade Center was built, or I guess finished, in 1973. So that's 3 years previous to this. So it really does cement it in these 2 new monuments, right?
Yeah.
That feel modern and of this time. And back then he climbed the Empire State Building, and that was their monument, and now we have our new monuments, and he climbs that.
Right. Yeah, the just in terms of the general desire to set it in the modern day, I think obviously, I mean, once you say World Trade Center, obviously it has to be modern day. Right. But I think that is sort of what distinguishes this movie, because all the other versions are period pictures. Mm-hmm. You know, not, I mean, up until, well, okay, so there's a sequel to this movie which is terrible.
Oh yeah, I read about that. Yeah, it's no good.
It's truly one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll talk about that more a little bit.
Okay.
Later,
okay.
Yeah, not a very good movie. And then we have Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
But I think other than those two, like I almost view the Japanese movies as kind of off in their own fantasy land. But Kong movies tend to be period pictures, you know?
Right.
All right, so let's talk about Kong himself, played by Rick Baker in the monkey suit.
Yeah.
The Kong costume is the result of a collaboration between both Rick Baker, who is like wet behind the ears.
Yeah, he was 25.
Yeah.
I only know him as this like gray-haired bearded guy.
Right.
You know?
But it's funny because I think if Rick Baker has a rep, it's the guy who makes monkeys happen in movies.
Right.
Like, you know, and it started here, and he's said, like, to him, this is like a 50-50 in terms of work, whether it works or doesn't work. But it was the result of a collaboration between Rick Baker and Carlo Rambaldi, he of E.T. fame. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the ape suit was to some extent designed by Baker, although it's like bare skins over it, and those don't necessarily work that well. But the mechanisms in the masks, those were designed by Rambaldi.
Well, you can see then why. I mean, he's pretty expressive. It's pretty good. You can see why Spielberg would be like, "That's my guy."
Yeah. Now, originally, when they were first figuring out how to approach this, they wanted something less ape-like. They wanted more of an ape man creature. Which is more reflective, to be honest, of the original film, where he's not like, he's gorilla-esque.
Right, yeah.
You know, and I think in the earliest stages they wanted something more like Planet of the Apes, where it would be an appliance.
Right.
So you'd have like an ape suit and an appliance. And I think Rick Baker was like, "No, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that."
Right.
Right. And so they came up with being able to make a mask. So it's basically several masks with a range of motion within them.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. Almost like stop motion, right? Where you have happy face that you can play with.
Yeah,
with.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they had like 4 different masks. You had like Angry Kong, which had a certain range of motion. You had like kind of what we just saw here, which is like Kong at red, like this.
Right.
Well, that right, that's Angry. And then there's like one specifically for the pornographic waterfall sequence later.
Yeah, say like Smitten Kong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I was reading about how Rick Baker was so frustrated working with Rambaldi. Because what De Laurentiis wanted was a giant 40-foot Kong.
Right.
Robot, which like we can't do that in 2021.
Right.
You know, so the idea was originally like, oh, we'll use the big giant Kong for most of it, and occasionally we have a guy in a monkey suit. And of course, it was the exact reverse.
Right.
And Rick Baker was like, give me the time, give me the money, we can do something really incredible, you know. And just little things like the pelt, and like he wanted to thread the individual hairs through so that it would move naturally. But like I said, instead they just got a bunch of like bear skins. That, when you think about it, if you're using actual fur from an animal, that fur is meant to exist on a specific type of frame.
Yeah.
You understand? So you throw it on something that's not meant to, it's not going to look right.
Right.
So you had a bunch of different pelts kind of sewn together. The where the glove joined at the wrist, it showed a seam, and it's all these issues. And Baker said, he's like, for as good as it looks, it's almost entirely because of the cinematography.
Huh.
Yeah. And you can see, if you pay attention to the shots of Kong, like the full body shots, like certain parts of the fur are like different colors.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
now, even you just saying that, it's like, it's kind of making me think of like Cruella de Vil, like how many bears had to die for this stupid suit.
Well, it's funny because that was Rick Baker's big issue. He's like, these are animals. Like we can make synthetic fur,
Right.
but it would be too expensive.
But it's funny because I guess what the big mechanical Kong, they said it cost like $2 million to use, and they only used it for about 15 seconds.
Not even. I think 6 seconds total.
Wow.
Of the movie.
Yeah. And that's in the stadium at the end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the rest is heavily relied on those two mechanical hands.
But when you think about it,
yeah.
the mechanical hands, by the way, look great.
I think they look awesome. They move really well. Yeah.
And that's, when you think about it, I mean, that's a carryover from the 1933 movie. They had the big giant hand that was holding, Fay Ray. So it still works, that technology.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say this. You're talking about Roland Emmerich, and when he falls in here, it reminds me of the Emmerich Godzilla, where you have a similar scene where I think it's Broderick is like in the footprint.
Mm-hmm. I always, it's a very cool visual thing to have someone realize they're in a giant footprint, but I can't help but have my brain think, yeah, but they're not leaving those footprints every time we see them. You know what I mean? It's one of those things I can't switch off in my mind.
That's really funny. That's true, though.
But it looks cool for that shot.
For that one shot. Yeah, it's just the one footprint.
Right.
There's none before or after.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really funny.
Yeah. But no, so just because I have these stats in front of me, yeah, that giant mechanical Kong was about $2 million. The hands were $400,000, and then they built a full-size styrofoam Kong that was $300,000. So. And
the styrofoam Kong we see at the very end. But what's interesting is, for all that money and for the for the objectively brief time that we see him on screen, it was more than paid for by the publicity.
Sure.
Because the publicity was meant to put forth the fiction that the movie was filmed using a giant robot Kong.
Right.
And for the most part, people just went along with it.
Sure. Back to the carnival barker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading because they said that this was, one of the first blockbusters to advertise a full year before it was about to come out. And they spent $10 million on the marketing. So, I mean, you can totally see the P.T. Barnum style, like whip up a frenzy for this thing. And I guess it worked.
I mean, it got people talking. And nowadays, that's just par for the course. Like, yeah, of course, you start seeing the ads way out ahead of the movie.
Yeah, totally. This is also, I was surprised to see it got an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
For visual effects. And again, under the illusion of it being more technically advanced than it actually was,
Yeah. It was also nominated for Best Cinematography and Sound. Cinematography,
rightly.
I agree.
I think the score should have been nominated. I think that's that feels like a massive oversight to me. Now, one thing this version of the movie is missing is the other various creatures on Skull Island.
I wondered if they were going to do that.
Yeah, and by the way, we never call it Skull Island in the movie either. But I think the movie, I'm of two minds. I'm like, well, you gotta have dinosaurs and shit, right? But on the other hand, I think the movie ages better for not having other creatures on it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Do you mean in terms of how they would be limited in the execution, or?
Yeah, because what would a dinosaur look like in this movie?
Yeah, it'd have to be stop motion or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We get the giant snake
Yeah.
And I almost feel like, well, that's probably enough.
Yeah, and if that's any indication, then maybe it's a good thing they stopped at the giant snake.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, in fact, they cut out a sequence where that same snake would have gone after the search party. So it would have sort of set up the existence of the snake that Kong would then fight later.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, though, I'm talking over myself, I think what we miss is something that lets the female lead know that Kong is protecting her.
I was just going to say that. I didn't find it as clear his intentions
Yes.
in this movie. Because it seems to me, if memory from Peter Jackson is he's just kind of infatuated with her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wasn't quite sure what. I mean, what does he do? What has he done with the previous women? Does he just eat them?
One presumes, right? I mean,
yeah. So like, what is he sensing here?
See,
does he miss her later? I mean, is it what's the feeling?
In the 30s one, she's someone unlike he's ever seen before, and so he's fascinated with her like she's a toy.
Right. That's always what I thought.
Yeah.
In my limited Kong knowledge.
And you've got other dinosaurs showing up, and he's trying to protect his toy. In the Jackson one, he forms a bond with her because he's all alone.
Right.
And she's trying to communicate with him.
Yeah, I remember there's that cute scene where she's juggling for him.
Right.
Like entertaining him.
Exactly. And she kind of does like this sign language where she says beautiful, looking at the sun. And then that comes back later.
Right.
In this, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not quite clear.
Now this scene right here, I remember this came in for critique. When people, talk about, oh, it's campy. Oh, she's asking him what his sign is, and she's calling him a male chauvinist pig and whatever. It's so campy. And I'm like, no, she's scared. Like that's
right.
Like she's just babbling,
Right. Yeah, it didn't bother me. You know what it felt like to me was, I'm sure that was like a funny phrase in the 70s or something to hear come out of the mouth of someone talking to King Kong.
Right. Totally. When you look at the close-ups of the Kong mask, though, I mean, it is really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that holds up to this day, like how expressive it is.
Oh, absolutely. The eyes and yeah. I mean, yeah. Like you say, the expression. Even just the mask as a whole, though, like the mouth and the teeth.
Yeah. And we said, I mean, that's Rick Baker in the suit.
Right.
Going slowly insane because of how constricting it is. He talked about how, like, because of all the mechanisms inside the mask, like it was digging into his face, and it was just like scabbed up.
That sounds awful.
It really like basically. I mean, this is one of the reasons he didn't want the bear skin was because of it doesn't breathe, right? So I mean, he's just cooking.
Right.
In this suit, and he's trying to, like, he's just getting like fans and just at the seams, just pointing the fan at the seams, just trying to get any cold air in there. Not working. There's a story he told about like there was like a small kind of a cabin that had been set up for him, where he could just kind of just sit and like meditate in between shots,
right?
Just to keep it, and so he goes in there just to sit and chill, and I guess they forgot he was there, so they just broke for lunch.
Oh.
And he can't get out the suit by himself.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
So he's just like stranded.
You know what that reminds me? Because he did the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch costume.
That's right.
And there's been much said about how Jim Carrey had to learn Navy SEAL techniques, torture.
Oh my God.
Sorts of things because he was just completely driven insane under all that prosthetics. And I wonder if Rick Baker was sympathetic or even helped him.
One would imagine, right?
Yeah.
It almost, after this movie, it became an obsession for Rick Baker to do the perfect movie apes. And he kept, because he came back, he did the apes for Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan.
Oh,
he
I haven't
did.
seen that.
He yeah, I would recommend watching that if you haven't seen it. It's an
Yeah.
interesting movie. I think he may have won an Oscar for Gorillas in the Mist.
Wow, you're right. He was chasing his perfect gorilla.
Just
wasn't he?
trying to get and then I'll tell you, he did the effects for the remake of Mighty Joe Young in the 90s, which was itself like, it wasn't a Kong sequel, but it's like a spiritual successor to Kong because it's made by a lot of the same people, the original one.
Oh,
And if you watch that movie, the ape is amazing.
oh, huh.
You know, so
I
it's
haven't
like
seen it.
he got there. He got there eventually.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. My ape movies are woefully under.
I know.
Viewing is woefully underserved.
You got some catching up to do.
Yeah. Well, and he also did the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, right?
He did, yeah. And those I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like I look at that the Burton apes as almost like, not to say it's the last time, but it's almost the last hurrah of true practical,
Right.
physical makeup effect.
Right.
I do, you know, I you know, you see interviews with people who are in the big special effects movies nowadays, and they have to do motion capture performances, and they'll complain about like, yeah, man, I had to be in this like, you know, onesie, and you know, like,
Right.
I had to have a golf ball in here, and it's like, you know, on the spectrum of
Right.
it's pretty low inconvenience, you know.
Yeah, I got to wear these pajamas.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Instead of having gears grinding into your cheeks. Yeah. Have you ever worn an ascot?
I have not worn an ascot. I feel like that's a dead giveaway that you're a bad guy. And I like to keep that hidden for the
that's
surprise.
right.
I like
Yeah.
to surprise people with that. So.
Yeah. You don't want to tip off your enemies.
Yeah, you know, it's
Oh, so by the way, I didn't realize that this famous Meryl Streep story came from this film, right? Where she auditioned for this and they didn't hire her. I guess in Italian, De Laurentiis said that she was too ugly for King Kong. And he didn't know that Meryl Streep understood Italian, and she responded in perfect Italian, so sorry to disappoint him.
isn't that something?
Isn't it? I'd heard that story before, but I didn't realize it was from this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that a long time ago, and you just see like, how are you gonna call Meryl Streep ugly? You know what I mean?
I know. It's just rude to anybody, but it's just amazing then that you're thankful that she didn't get discouraged and listen to some dickhead. You know what I mean? And then she went on and became Meryl Streep.
But, I mean, and it occurs to me because obviously,
That face, yes.
here we have to talk about this scene right here. So this is. This is just, hey, let's just dunk Jessica Lange in water and film every second of it.
Right. Yeah. There's at one point where her top comes off, and I was like, why?
It's like, oh, okay, we're doing this, huh?
Yeah. I mean, this is like a PG, like, why? Why are we doing that?
I have a feeling that a bunch of families went to these, an entire generation of kids started to feel funny right at this moment.
Yeah. A bunch of little boys walked out with their voices a little lower that day.
Now this right here, you know, he's drawing her, and it's meant to be like sort of erotic, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
she's like,
as it was happening, I was trying to make sense of what this scene was expressing.
yeah, it's weird on a whole host of levels. First of all, the effect like of the cheeks like blowing up
awesome.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But look at her. I mean, she's like writhing orgasmically, right?
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I'm like, Kong's breath must smell like the inside of 8 different assholes. How could that possibly be appealing?
Yeah, I had that, not that exact thought. I wish I had been that clever. But I was like, there's no way that smells good.
Right?
And I was curious because, yeah, she's, like you say, she's writhing sort of orgasmically. She's making eye contact with him.
Yeah.
It's very... I understand, I think, what they were trying to go for, but it just comes across a little weird.
It's meant to be kind of like post-coital.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I wasn't even. I was gonna say it's soothing and comforting to her, and like she feels free. With
I mean, I guess it's not like she was buttoned up before that, right?
Well, I mean, she was afraid of him, right? But now
Yeah.
she's sort of like, oh, like some
See,
sort of connection
I think
happening.
again that's what you miss by losing some kind of a battle of some kind.
You mean in defense of her?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, she hasn't had it proven to her yet. His protectiveness of her.
like in the
that what you're saying?
Jackson one, and I think he dials it up to like 15, and it gets a little much.
Right.
But you got like these dinosaurs fighting over her, and he's like doing everything he can to save her. Like you get it.
Right.
Here in this, I mean, we have the snake, but that comes later.
Right. Because he's her protector at that point, and she
Yeah.
recognizes that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you needed something earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe like a big bug or something that you could pull off. Mm-hmm. Now, by the way, look, it's the other side of the wall is Hawaii. This side of the wall is soundstage.
Yeah. I was gonna say like Mordor.
Right.
Yeah. For as much as everything, like I say, with a '70s lens, looks pretty good. This looks pretty bad.
Yes, it does.
This, by the way, I mean, I'm getting a little ahead, but this whole little action sequence on the log later, I was like, this is. Wow, yeah, this is the one thing that I feel like, even squinting, I'm like, this isn't very good.
It's, right. When the guys are falling off. And,
Very unceremoniously, just like, whoa. And then it's like, okay, there's one. Then wiggle again. Whoa. Like just one at a time. Yeah, there's no sort of...
Now, here's me. If I'm in the search party, as soon as I see that log, I'm like, well, see you guys later. And I turn
Yep,
right
good luck.
back. Let me know how it goes. Peace out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone before Kong shows up. Like, I don't even hear it.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you guys. Yeah,
I do like how the movie goes out of its way to set up Jack. Like, he is never the anti-Kong force. Mm-hmm. Even here, he's like, don't shoot, right?
Right. Yeah, I remember there's some line they gave him later. And that's fine. I mean, you can forgive the whatever, but it was just sort of the one by one nature of
Yeah, I know.
It just kind of made me laugh.
Like, we already lost Jack O'Halloran, right? Oh, nope, there he goes. And there exits Ed Lauder. Look at wow. See, now
Yeah,
if
there was
this was
like
the
a
Peter
line
Jackson
later, I think-
version, they'd fall
say-
into that insect pit for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then we'd watch them slowly get killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what I do applaud is that the movie does not fall for the trope of killing off the black guy first.
I wondered if that was going to happen. I remember thinking that at one point last night, and it didn't happen. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, again, this looks all right. You know, that big hand and like the melding of all the styles here, or the special effects tricks. Oh, by the way, so I read a funny story. I guess Charles Grodin wrote in his autobiography that, while they were rushing into production, they made accidentally 2 huge right hands for Kong by mistake. Can you imagine spending all this money and being like, oh, damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. In looking up some of the behind the scenes stuff, I saw this.
Wait,
really
real quick,
awesome...
Brian. Look at look at the fur on his leg. Do you see that?
Oh yeah. I gotta be honest. I didn't think about it last night.
Yeah. You can. I mean, I think to Rick Baker's point, I think the photography does a pretty good job of just making it look like texture.
Yep.
But when you get a chance to really gaze at it, you can absolutely see the different colored fur.
Now, yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
Oh no, it's real quick. Also, a whole different thing. When he threw that big log, I think nowadays they probably would have slowed down the speed a bit to make it feel a little more heavy.
A little.
That was
heavier.
something I noticed in here where I think nowadays people slow things down to give more scope to larger things.
I think just Kong in general when he's moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be a bit more lumbering.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And you'd have a little more bass in the soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess going back to Fay Wray, she was offered a cameo, but she turned it down because she didn't like the script.
She was also offered a cameo in the 2005 one.
Oh, turned it down as well?
I think by then... let me see. Like, I don't know if she turned it down or if she passed away. She died in 2004, so she may have passed away before the opportunity to film was there. Peter Jackson wanted Fay Wray to get the final line of the remake.
Oh, that's coming back to me now.
Yeah,
Did you say that? Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why she wouldn't have wanted to be part of this remake.
Yeah, I get it.
Because relatively, it was too recent, you know.
Like, kind of stand with your. I stand by my version.
Yeah,
your
right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like that you know the whole reason for the trip ends up being for naught in terms of the oil. Mm-hmm. And so he just you know, he's like, okay, well, we'll do this instead.
It is funny because it's a whole industry shift for him. Because
right.
later he does become sort of a producer type, talking about contracts, and he's able to whip up a whole stage show.
Right.
When he's kind of like an oil man.
Right. I on a creative level, I like the approach of, okay, we want to retell this story from 40 years ago in present day. How do we make it work?
Right.
And there's just something clever to me about finding plotting the different plot points and updating them. There's something creative about that.
Yeah. No, I agree. By the way, I got to eat crow there. There's some more footprints. I am sorry. I guess he leaves them when it's convenient.
But yeah, when he's in the mood. I get it.
Yeah, I was impressed by the scope of all of this. You got that wall for starters, but just the whole excavation and building the pit, and just knowing that some set designers and workers and whatnot had to build all of this.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Captain.
That's like the one moment where he kind of becomes sinister, right?
Yeah.
I like that. It's just layered under. Like, he's not a mustache twirling villain.
Yeah. And you know what? He's stands to lose a lot here. This was like a whole gamble that didn't pay off, and he's got to do something to recoup losses.
Although he did, I mean, he brought it on himself. He kind of oversold it a little bit.
Sure, for sure. But I understand.
He kind of is Dino De Laurentiis when you think about it.
Right. By the way, I didn't realize that shot that they put in of that sort of ceremonial altar thing sets up the whole Twin Towers shot at the end.
Yeah, and in case you miss it later, they do like the dissolve, the crossfade.
Yeah, because it's funny when Bridges is like, "I'm getting deja vu." I was like, "Explain." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
So that crossfade was put in just for you. That's what that means.
Yeah.
That's really funny because when I watched it a couple days ago, I was like, I don't know if you needed that. Like, I think we get it, but I guess you don't.
Well, he could have said it. I don't know if I needed to see it, but like I didn't think about it. I didn't make the connection between the two stones.
Yeah, I think just as a way to sort of justify why he would climb the World Trade Center, I guess it works.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought it was. I thought it totally worked. Because
was the World Trade Center taller than the Empire State?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Curious about that because obviously at the time the Empire State Building was the tallest building in the world. So you get why he would climb up there.
They were taller than the Empire State Building.
No kidding.
Yep. I don't have the numbers, but that's the quick Google answer.
That itself sort of situates this movie Like, it adds a whole different context to the third act, knowing that those buildings aren't around anymore.
I know. There's just, as soon as you see them, there's sort of like a sadness.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
There's a piece, where like a helicopter crashes into the tower.
Yeah. Yeah, it stood out to me too.
Yeah.
You just can't help it. And then, oh yeah, is this it? Like, he kind of basically takes her dress off.
Yep.
Kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, like, what is he doing?
Yeah, right there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
it's indicative of the way women are treated in the industry in general.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, I read something about Joel Silver, and that was one of his things where you just had to have a topless woman in every movie, and he'd figure out where to put it. Like, that was actually spoken.
I mean, that's something. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So
the snake. Yeah.
The snake is not what you call good looking, right? But I think given the limitations of the movie, this is probably as good as any creature was going to look.
Yeah. So, like you were saying with the dinosaurs earlier, you still do get your overgrown Monster Island.
Yeah.
Probably about like you said, the best you're about to get it. So may as well.
I think you needed that sooner. I think we need that. No. That should have been earlier, and then have another creature or have her escape some other way.
Right. Yeah. See, that's what I was sort of expecting here also, was I thought she was going to defend him to Jeff Bridges here and be like, no, he's helping me right now.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
I mean, when you think about it, like, where Bridges is at is where I think most people would be at these days.
Oh, for sure.
Which is like, hey, this is a beautiful, unique creature. Just like leave it alone, right?
Right. Like, let's just get out of here and leave him. This is his home. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that says something about just the times.
Yeah.
I think it was right around when they were shooting this. Jeff Bridges talked about how, I mean, they're just exhausted, I mean, the shoot is going long, etc. And De Laurentiis is seeing the footage, and he tells Jeff Bridges, like, I have 2 words for you, Kong 2. and Bridges, this is what he said. He's like, I have 2 words for you, which he can't repeat.
That's hilarious. I don't know, this isn't related at all, but it just jogged my memory. I just love that story about James Cameron pitching the movie Aliens to Fox, where he just went to like a whiteboard and wrote down alien and then added an S and made it a $sign. And I was like, thank you. Such a good story.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like, what you say about kind of slowing it down slightly, I totally, like, when I see that shot of Kong being angry up there.
Yeah.
You slow down the film a little bit, and it adds a little bit more weight to the movement.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I gotta say, all this. I mean, does this look like a Spielberg film?
It has that same scope. You brought up CE3K earlier.
Yeah.
It brings that to mind. Obviously, very different.
Very, very different. I don't even mean in terms of. I just mean in scope. Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember earlier you have the shot where Bone, the African American crew member, comes back, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of does like the knife across the throat motion. I thought it'd be funny. He's like, "We ain't found shit."
Right. Right. We're combing the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spaceballs for anyone.
Yeah, we should clarify that. There he is. See, now, if you remember in the Jackson version, by this point in the movie, I mean, we've spent an agonizing amount of time with the crewmen.
Yeah.
I mean, we know their hopes and dreams. We know, right?
Yes.
And it's one of those things. Like, to this, there was the Jamie Bell character, and he like looks up to
oh yeah.
You know,
wow. And then he had like this mentor, and he's like, "You listen to me, Jimmy."
Yeah, exactly. So to this day, I mean, 16 years later, whenever I see my brother, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Let me tell you something, Jimmy." Like,
That's right. You be a good boy, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The case where he had all these like motivational speeches.
It's like, wow. I don't think we need all of that,
Yeah, we didn't need that.
But that's, I mean, the thing with the Jackson Kong movie is it is a Peter Jackson movie through and through.
Yeah.
And you gotta appreciate that he used every measure of the accumulated clout from the Lord of the Rings movies to just make the movie that 10-year-old Peter Jackson would have made.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
But by that same token, I look at this film and I'm like, there's an authorial voice here. Gillerman does a good job, like making a movie that it looks good, It feels like more than just a product,
I agree. With every moment, especially this one, I remember thinking last night, well, are they going to be able to show this? Like, how are they going to pull this off, seeing this huge ape fall into this pit? And so I was continually impressed when they kept doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sort of used to watching some older movies where they have to kind of cut to a reaction of a person's face because they can't actually pull off the thing.
Right.
Happening. But yeah, this movie goes for pretty much all of it.
It's kind of nuts that we are, about an hour and a half into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, basically 2/3 of the way through it, and he's still on the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I guess, to some extent that makes sense because I think the movie is most interesting on the island.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's really only one thing that can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in New York. Yeah.
I think, and we were talking about how they made a sequel to this 10 years later. I think that's the inherent problem is there is no sequel to this movie. Kong has to be dead.
Right.
So when you say, and the sequel, spoiler alert, it's called King Kong Lives.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's actually just been in a coma for 10 years.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's terrible.
Right.
Right? Like, his death has to be final for it to mean anything,
Right. Why do you think they kept the door locked, by the way, when they were so eager for him to come through?
I was wondering that same thing during my recent rewatch. I was trying to figure out the logistical reason.
I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah. I think that's the real reason because it gives us that set piece of seeing him smash through the door.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I mean, if you look at it, it is slowed down, right? So you see the pieces falling slower. It just feels bigger.
That looks great right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would have done it from a strategic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You know what my headcanon now is going to be? Is Clark Griswold's dad. And so when I watch Christmas Vacation and he's just talking about, hey, son, like I'd like to think that he has been on this island.
He just doesn't talk about it. It was traumatic.
Yeah. This is well done. I like this. The chloroform and the smoke and him sort of.
It's a clever way to engineer his capture.
Yeah.
Now we haven't seen these natives.
Yeah.
Like what were you guys doing this whole time?
Yeah. Were they just sort of observing? I mean, yeah, this whole sort of process of building this whole.
See, I like the idea that they didn't build the wall to protect them from Kong. They built the wall to protect them from all the other creatures on the island.
Right.
And they would give Kong a tribute to sort of it's like protection money to the mob.
Right.
And now there's a big hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And Kong is gone.
So it's sort of the destructive nature of man, right?
Yeah.
Like we came in and bulldozed and completely ruined this society.
And that's, I mean, everything we're saying is just conjecture.
Right.
There's nothing textual, but I think it's interesting,
Well, it could have, and I just mean to back up what you're saying, where if they had added that, right?
Yeah.
Where you had these creatures that Kong was sort of keeping them safe from.
Because that's not even subtext in Kong Skull Island. That's text.
Right.
That's, you have all these other monsters, and Kong is the one who fights them off.
Right.
And that's why the Kong is their protector,
Yeah.
But that I think is itself fascinating to me because the character in the 1933 movie is, I mean, he's not a villain, he's an animal.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an animal, that's it, right?
Right.
And yet, as soon as that movie came out, people just took to him. And he became a beloved character. And when you think about it, he's always portrayed as a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's kind of interesting how that works, right? Because Godzilla, by way of contrast, goes back and forth a little bit in terms of how generally he's like the good guy monster.
Right.
But Godzilla doesn't have pathos the same way Kong does.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's kind of interesting.
This is kind of, yeah, she's got her gig. You can understand.
And that's what I actually like. There's a sort of a storyline woven in here about the love story, the Jack and Dwan love story.
Name.
What's that?
Dwan. I just saw it in the closed captioning too. I'm like, Dwan. It's so funny.
This is going to become extra ironic when, like, several years from now, you name your daughter Dwan.
Yeah. I just couldn't get it out of my head. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like something that would be in like a scary movie or something. This is my girlfriend, Dwan. Or like a parody of. You mean Dawn? No, Dwan.
Dwan.
Like it just feels like a joke.
That's really funny.
So by the way, okay, so I've become recently, as we've been watching these older movies, kind of obsessed with the whole relationship pre-VCR, or at least most people owning VCRs, with television debuts being a huge deal and them trying to make those draws, events. Mm-hmm. So ends up NBC bought the rights for this movie, and they paid De Laurentiis $19.5 million.
Isn't that nuts?
To show the movie twice over 5 years.
Yep.
And that was the highest any network had paid for a movie at that time. And as we were talking about with Superman 2, they added 45 minutes of extra footage to make the movie longer and to be able to air it over 2 nights.
Yeah, and I've never seen the extended version, but they're releasing it on Blu-ray. They're releasing a new Blu-ray of this movie in a couple months, and that's going to include for the first time the extended TV edition also.
45 minutes, that's significant. I wonder what's in there.
I suspect most of it will be not very good.
Yeah, right.
Because, we just got done talking about how you basically tell all the story you need in the time you have.
Yeah.
There is an extended cut of the Peter Jackson Kong movie.
Right.
Which
have you ever seen that?
I've not. I've seen the added bits of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't watch that movie the whole way through. I just can't.
Yeah.
And it is probably too much of a good thing, in my opinion, the extended cut of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like, suddenly now Wilson has just, like, shifted gears to becoming like like an agent, basically.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think of what's like a costume choice or a hat or something they could have given him. I guess like a beret and puffy pants.
Yeah,
like director pants.
It is. The whole film essentially is in terms of Jessica Lange's arc. It's about her wanting to be famous, and I do kind of like that the movie ends with her getting her wish.
Yes, that was a nice dark.
Yes, right.
Last shot of the movie.
I agree. Like again, there's stuff like that I appreciate in a big kind of. A 4-quadrant movie like this, when you try to you add some layers to it that make it interesting,
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a happily ever after for these characters,
right? Right, and it's not to say that she couldn't have become famous, but the means she decided to choose, led to something.
And it's not even necessarily her fault, you know. It's just the sort of the circumstances that led to it.
Yeah. Although it probably wasn't the greatest idea to put this huge creature out in a crowd of 40,000 people.
You know, it's funny because I saw a documentary recently looking at the whole history of just the character and in referring to the original film, which we see the same thing in the Peter Jackson one. You know, you have the Carl Denham character, the movie producer. He brings out Kong and he's in the chains, and everyone's like, "Woo!" Right? Mm-hmm. And Dana Gould, the comedian, he was talking about it. He's like what was next? Like, what happens after?
Yeah, right.
Like,
what's the show?
Yeah, right.
It's probably like, and now the Kong dancers.
Yeah, right.
Like all these people come out and just start dancing to this poor chained animal.
That's the funny thing. I mean, it sort of speaks to how just sensibilities changed, where it's less like, oh, look at the horrible freak. Mm-hmm. Like when you think of it, I mean, freak shows were a staple of circuses.
Right. Like family events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine that today, you know?
Yeah. That looks pretty good. I mean, the wall, you know, like I actually like the moment too where he was, her scarf comes down and he sniffs it. Like he looks tired and sad.
Yeah. I like that. Did you see that right there where the pipes get bent and you just see poop streaming down? Look at
that. Yeah, I didn't even think about what that was.
Those are the waste pipes. That's 100% poop.
Yeah. Not up for debate.
You know what's funny is Godzilla has his roar, right?
Yeah.
And it's like iconic. You know what Godzilla sounds like.
Yes.
For me, Kong's roars in this movie, like, to me, that's what Kong is supposed to sound like. Mm. And it's just because I watched this movie so much when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, was that on television, or where were you seeing this?
Oh man, my history with King Kong. I when I was in Saudi Arabia, I was living there from the time I was 3 until I was 12, and so I started school there, and you know, in the library, the elementary school library, they had a whole series of monster books, and these were you know, they weren't storybooks. They had like the story, but it was also like all the behind the scenes stuff. So you had like all the Universal. So you had like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, Godzilla, King Kong. And the ones that were always checked out were the Godzilla and King Kong books. And so I read these books. You know, I've said this before. I have a deep affinity for those classic monsters, and it's because of those books.
Right.
I would just read them and reread them. It was all about the original Universal cycle, and then the Hammer films, and all the different incarnations of the classic monsters. So King Kong. There was one of these books. It had obviously the story of the original film and all the making of. And in fact, Brian, now that I think about it, the first time I saw pictures from Planet of the Apes were in that King Kong book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know, Arthur P. Jacobs, who produced the ape movies, he originally toyed with remaking King Kong. Decided not to do that. Instead, he did adapting the Planet of the Apes novel. And so that's what got me interested in seeing that movie. But there was a picture of the John Berkey painting, which you've seen, I'm sure, the poster for the 76 Kong, where he's astride the World Trade Center, 1 foot on this tower, 1 foot on that tower. That obviously did not happen in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
But there was a picture. They had that picture in the book. I was like, wow, a new remake. It was back then. It was new, right? It was like less than 10 years old. So I was fascinated to see any version of King Kong. I didn't see the original then because it wasn't available. But I had a family friend who had the '76 movie on tape. And I was like, I would have been 6 6 years old. I was like, can I watch this? And they said you can have it. So
Huh.
they gave it to me on tape, and I
Uh-huh.
would just watch it again and again.
Huh. That's cool.
You know, and so that's part of why I just have a lot of affinity for this movie. But it's one of those things where when I got older, it sort of was in the conversation to whatever extent it was discussed. Oh, it's the bad remake.
Mm.
And so that sort of just sat in my head.
Right.
Like, oh, I liked it when I was a kid, but it's dumb.
Hmm.
And then I revisited it in the early 2000s, and I was like, this isn't bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not the original. It's a different thing, but I don't think it's bad. So it's weird how this stuff, like when you start thinking for yourself in terms of these
Yeah.
your movie opinions,
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can maybe it's one of those things also like I'm always talking about with superhero movies where when this is the latest incarnation of something, you judge it more harshly because that's supposedly the way it is now. This is what
Yeah.
Batman is.
Yeah.
But when you have a bunch of them to look at, you can be like, "Oh, well this is this version and this is that version," and
And isn't that
This-
more fun?
yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
This, real quick, when you spoke about his roar, so I guess I read somewhere that it was Peter Cullen who did some of his vocal.
is that right? I didn't know that.
It says an uncredited Peter Cullen. I don't know.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Gojipedia, which is the Godzilla wiki. It says Cullen also producing animal sounds.
Mm-hmm.
When recording the roars for King Kong for the 1976 remake, Cullen strained his voice so much during a 5+ hour recording session that he injured his throat and began to cough blood.
Whoa.
Cullen's vocalizations created for the film would go on to become very famous stock roars used in countless monster films across the world for decades to come.
Wow. Peter Cullen.
I know. Look at it. That's really funny.
Dwan. I'm looking at the caption. Dwan, shut up.
I feel like Peter Cullen, we should say, for those of you who may not know, Peter Cullen is renowned and beloved the world over for doing the voice of Optimus Prime
Yeah.
in the original Transformers animated show and also the modern feature films.
Yeah.
He's also the voice of Eeyore.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
So there, in the modern, like not in the original film, obviously.
Sure. Oh, I see. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He's like see. It would have been kind of funny. That would have been campy if he did all of a sudden have like one of those cigarette stick things out of his mouth and
The cigarette holder.
Yeah. Like now he's like slimy producer guy. I did like this stage, by the way. Like just how 70s it looks.
Yes.
Like the letters and the. I mean, this is the bicentennial, right? 76.
Yep.
So they get the.
So this is. I think they had hoped to shoot this at Shea Stadium, but logistically that was impossible. This is all done on the studio lot, but the big. I mean, they were struggling to find any big venue to host it, and it just budgetarily it became too much of a problem. So what they did was that big fence the wall that they built, they just redressed it. So this is that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, smart.
They just threw aluminum tarp over it.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Dwan, get your laugh
Yes.
out of the way, just fairly recently, in the last week, was drugged and tied up to this altar. It's a horrifying, traumatic experience that she just suffered through.
Yeah.
So let's just have her reenact it
Right.
for fun.
I know. This cracked me up. This, you expect this giant monster to appear, and then it's just this enormous gasoline pump. Like this, if people wanted to accuse it of camp, this I could understand.
Right. Totally.
But whatever. It's fine. It makes me laugh. So apparently these were unpaid extras. They did a casting call for about 5,000 people, and over 30,000 showed up.
Well, I think that was for the World Trade Center portion.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because they
I was
filmed
gonna say,
that.
it doesn't look like 30,000 people.
Yeah, no, you'll note at the end because they shot that live. I mean, not live. It's all live. They shot it on location at World Trade Center Plaza.
Yeah.
And you had
so the crowd around the
exactly. So
well, there's the giant Kong then, I guess, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
There's
So-
2 seconds of the 6.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can tell. I mean, it's very clear. Like that's not Rick Baker.
Yeah.
I think for the long shot where he's just kind of standing, it kind of works.
Yeah.
But that
I
See-
mean, they did not need to spend $2 million on that thing.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
What's funny is that they were trying to keep it under wraps that there was a guy in a costume at all, right? And eventually it came out because they had a reporter from the Wall Street Journal come out to cover the movie, and they explained to him, you can't see the giant Kong yet because it's still under construction. It's like, okay. And so they taking him on a tour, and they're like, hey, do you want to see some of the footage? And they show him footage with Kong, and he's like, well, what? Wait, I thought you said it's under construction.
Yeah.
So then the jig is up.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so yeah, there's a 2 seconds,
Wow.
and then there's like one more shot here.
You can understand the ambition, but oh my goodness, if they could go back in time.
Right?
It's so not worth it.
This one shot coming up is like just awful looking.
Run. I love that. It's okay. He's broken everything else, but he's got the chains on his feet.
Oops, never mind.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good right there.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I like that. I was wondering that woman.
Yeah, yeah, right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the giant Kong done.
$2 million.
But you figure that in terms of PR, that's probably $2 million worth of box office that they got.
Yeah. I love that, by the way. That he steps on the people.
Oh yeah.
And then when his foot comes up, they're sort of writhing on the ground.
Yeah,
like
no, they're
shaking
still
on a
alive. They're still
griddle.
alive. But you know what's funny is we have the shot coming up where he steps on Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
And originally, Grodin was supposed to be he steps on his hat. So Kong,
sure.
Kong's foot comes down, and then he lifts up, and we see that it's Wilson's hat.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that Wilson survives. But interestingly, in test screenings, they found that people responded better if he was dead.
Huh.
Which is almost like the reverse of what you normally hear,
Right.
Like this character is supposed to die, but people liked him so much we decided to leave him alive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't know. Is that a testament to your performance that people want to see you dead?
Right. You are just slimy enough.
I wonder, is his character, is that an earned death? Is that a justified death?
In my opinion, I think the movie could have gone further to make him appear more reckless.
I agree.
And toward Kong himself and toward other human safety.
I agree.
And then it might have been, if that had been a result of his, recklessness. But it feels a little harsh.
It does, right? That was my thought.
Yeah.
Like if we have a scene where he's like, "You stupid monkey," and he's like hitting him or lighting a match on him or something,
Yeah, trying to get him to move. Like, he's not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he tasing him or something like that.
It feels like that's a thing you put in just to justify.
It's a direct punishment from the abuse he had been giving to him or something. Yeah.
It's like every Jurassic movie always has that one just total asshole who has it coming,
Yep.
Now, I love
yeah.
this train crash sequence. To me, this is what you pay for. It's the big monster movie where the guy's just wrecking the city. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you get it. You get what you came for here.
I was just real quick. I just wanted to say, I mean, this sequence essentially inspired the Kong ride at Universal Studios.
I was literally just going to ask that because I was like, this feels like what you drive through.
Yeah,
in that tram.
Which that ride, I think it was destroyed by a fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that fire. Oh, I love this, by the way. I love how he smashes this window, Jeff Bridges, on the subway. And then he opens the door. Like, he didn't do it to unlock anything. I was like, why did he do that?
Well, does he smash it to reach through and open it from the outside?
No.
Oh.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Look at this. He just picked whoever that person is. She's entirely dead.
He just throws her away. This is cool.
It's tricky because the movie needs you to sympathize with Kong, but the movie still needs him to be a monster.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I mean, he could have tossed her and you see her like roll on a rooftop and be okay.
Yeah.
I love that, by the way, this guy's the perfect means to escape quickly and he abandons it. That motorcycle. He's like...
He's on a bike. He's like, nope, feet don't fail me now.
Exactly. I mean, it's perfect because then they can take it without us feeling bad about them commandeering it, but it's just kind of a weird decision. Again, I mean, for people who aren't watching along, basically a guy on a motorcycle sees King Kong and is like, I got to get out of here quickly. And he gets off of his motorcycle and runs away.
See, now my thought is, if you know Kong is after you specifically,
right.
You just...
I think I know what you're going to say.
You keep going.
Yeah.
You don't...
Instead of being like, let's go get a drink.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, because you do the math. It's like, well, if you get far enough, he's not going to find you.
Right.
The odds, the sheer odds of what happens here...
Yeah.
Where he finds her, it's like you are either very stupid or you just have very bad luck.
Yeah. I actually thought it'd be kind of funny if there'd been a version of this where Kong died in that river because it was so disgusting. It's like he never made it through the river because whatever sorts of horrors awaited him in there. Sort of like Into War of the Worlds, the diseases took him out.
You just see he's like floating. His corpse is floating.
Yeah. And all the New Yorkers are like, yay.
Credits. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm a dummy. When he's like, deja vu, I was like, huh? I didn't think of those two rock spires when I was looking at the tower.
Well, I mean, I think the movie doesn't highlight them like as being significant to Kong when he's on the island. You know what I mean?
Yeah, watching it now, I totally get it.
Right.
And seeing him go, oh, like something he recognizes. That makes sense. But yeah, I just didn't get it the first time.
We're talking about the Jackson movie. One thing I did like in that film is we go into Kong's home, like his cave, and we see the skeletons of other giant apes, I guess, and we get the sense that he's the last one.
Man, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's like, I personally like Kong being less like just a big ape, That's why I really like the current version of Kong where he's ape-ish, but he's not just an ape.
Right.
So that's one thing I didn't like about the way Jackson depicted him. He's just a big gorilla.
Right.
But I do like when you look at his face. I mean, the effects are just amazing, and he's all ragged and worn down and beaten up, and his eyes are scarred and stuff. There's like a lot of character in his face, which I thought was really well done.
Mm-hmm. This way, yeah. Yeah, man, even if you just showed him sniffing her out a little bit or something, like, because he had that handkerchief, right? And then he could be on the scent or the trail for her.
That's the thing. I mean, and this is the thing, right? It's one of those things where you can critique it and say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. But then you also say, well, that's what they did in the original one also. So,
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. This doesn't.
No, but I mean, to your point, right? When you look at a lot of the critiques people lodge at this one, it's like, well, it's following the template that was already laid in place. So it's kind of like you're locked in a little bit. If you notice in the Jackson one, they sidestep that. They step over the idea that Anne/Dwan is trying to hide from Kong and he finds her, because in that she goes to him
right
to stop the rampage.
Right.
And that's sort of an elegant way of stepping past exactly what I'm saying. Like, what are the sheer odds that he would find her?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's because then when he climbs the Empire State Building, it's sort of like the one person I trust, let's get alone. Like, let's get away from this chaos, right?
Exactly.
It's sort of a retreat, which is kind of sweet and more tragic.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that crossfade,
trying to
Brian.
get away from, yeah.
At this moment, Brian, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's almost like, speaking of Spaceballs, you know, Rick Moranis looking in the camera. Everybody got that?
Right. So that
was the crossfade for people who aren't watching. The crossfade between the Twin Towers and the two
Kong's,
spires,
like, the mountain
from the island.
Now this to me,
yes.
right here, to me it's the most unbelievable part of this movie.
Is this the president?
I think it's like the mayor, right?
Okay, I was like, how did he get through to the president from a payphone? In this?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, good. Sorry, what was your?
The idea that that Jack is like, listen, I know where he's going to be. I just want you to keep him safe. Just catch him in a net and you know, capture him alive. The idea that the mayor's like, no, F that.
Yeah,
we're not gonna. No, we're gonna have machine guns and we're gonna shoot him down.
Yeah,
like, what are you losing by just capturing him alive?
Oh, sure.
Right? Like, again, it goes back. You're telling me in 1976 there wouldn't be pressure to keep him alive?
I don't know. I mean, if he was like rampaging and stepping on people, I could see the desire to instantly end that. But yeah, it's not what happens.
That's right. He hasn't done a ton of rampaging.
Right. This made me laugh, by the way. The hand just coming in the door like that.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Through the window.
Like, you talk about bad luck. She just happened to be standing in the exact line of sight.
I know. Okay. There's his... Yeah, I was kind of surprised she didn't scream. So at this point, I was still confused about her. Seeing that, it doesn't look like his arm could have gone in that door. Not to be that guy.
No, I think you're right.
I don't care. Oh, this I read about this shot here, right? So these carriages and this priest comes out and basically like this giant shadow goes over him. And I guess they went through all this work and they blocked off Fifth Avenue and lit it and did all this stuff, and then it rained.
Ugh.
And so they had to do it again the next night. And I was like, I don't know if I would have missed it.
That's why do you think it was important to put in?
I don't know. I do sort of like people in different parts of the city responding to this.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So I mean, I do actually appreciate that.
You know, thinking of, we were just talking about Superman. You know, I just rewatched parts of the '78 Superman, and to your point, that's one thing I appreciate about that movie that we don't get in any of those other of those four films. Is there's lots of shots of people reacting to Superman. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Superman, and you just people in buildings. And I think it adds sort of a sense of a universe beyond the characters of your movie. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's part of the reason.
Totally.
Or maybe, by having him walk by a church, you're showing that Kong is challenging God.
Right.
That's like
that'd be like the college.
I was about to say that's like
paper.
The artsy fartsy,
Yeah.
You see, it's a Christ metaphor, Brian.
Right.
Although, what's funny is that Dino De Laurentiis would have talked up a Christ metaphor
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
If it would have put butts in seats, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is my statement.
Yeah.
This film.
It's interesting that De Laurentiis is again is one of those producers where he was such a outsized personality that it's his name that gets associated with the movies he produced rather than the directors.
Right. Kind of like a Bruckheimer. Not necessarily in personality, but in terms of
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
because when we look at Dino De Laurentiis movies, right? It's the De Laurentiis King Kong. It's the De Laurentiis Flash Gordon.
Right.
Dune is a little different because it's Lynch, so like it.
Oh, I didn't know that was a De Laurentiis movie. I gotta watch that.
Yeah, we talked about it. I'm telling you, before that movie comes out, we should do a track for that film. I think it would be something interesting.
Yeah.
But he was one of those guys, and there's no denying that he. Like, I don't, I like to rag on the guy, but I mean, there's no denying that he had a sense of the big show that people wanted to see.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
and those big swings, they didn't always pan out, but he made some interesting movies that people still talk about.
Yeah.
Whether it's Flash Gordon or Conan the Barbarian, he made that.
Wow. I'm realizing, I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I should.
Yeah, to me, it's like my first, I learned of him because of King Kong, because of that book I read as a kid,
Uh-huh.
So I always associate him with this movie in particular, but I mean, he had a very, storied career.
Right. Gotta keep going up.
I find it funny that Jack is, he's going up and then Kong jumps to the other tower.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a little bit like Homer having to use the bathroom, and then
that's right.
It's out of order, and he has to go to the other.
Right. No, but that makes sense if you're gonna use these two buildings and have a different ending. Like, use it and leap from one to the other.
Yeah, making it more of a set piece. I mean, I think the original film does a really good job of making it iconic, right? I mean, that image, you haven't seen the original, but if you can, you can picture Kong standing on top of the Empire State, the biplanes around him. I mean, there's something iconic about that image. How do you compete with that? You don't.
Right.
So you just do something different,
Totally. So what is your take with his relationship with her in this film?
Oh, he wants to have sex with her. Isn't that? No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Grodin was saying that earlier. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the movie tries to eroticize it in weird ways, and right. That's unsettling.
Yeah.
/ arousing. I don't know. No, but yeah, I think, to me, the only depiction that makes sense is the Naomi Watts version.
Yeah.
Where we see her fear turn to being protective.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe because that's the one I'm most familiar with, but that feels nice to me. I don't know. It makes sense.
I mean, I understand Jessica Lange feeling an affinity for him. Like, I like when she's like, "Don't put me down," they'll kill you. Don't put, I like that. I think that, and like I said, I think the Jackson version owes it, to this, what it did a little bit.
Yeah.
But in terms of what is Kong's attraction to her, I don't know that this movie really clarifies it. I do this moment right here where Kong throws this thing, and those guys those are ex people now, and Jack is cheering.
Yes.
They're about to be. They're yeah. He throws the gas tank. Okay,
that's right. And blows them up. I that stood out to me also. You think he just wouldn't want anyone being hurt?
Yeah.
But he's like, good for you.
I mean, those guys, they're just doing what they were ordered to do. Shit.
I know.
Right?
Pretty much trying to protect the city.
Right. That's kind of interesting, but I mean, to some extent, Jack is the surrogate for the audience.
Sure. Well, you know what? That's what occurred to me is I remember I was going to say this earlier. Is he has a couple lines that he says that he's telling us what to feel. Like, no, you're on Kong's side.
Where he's like dirty, rotten bastards, like you just said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the movie makes no bones about the fact that you're supposed to feel bad for Kong when he dies.
Yeah.
It's not a triumphant moment. I mean, I'll just say, like, this stuff right here, it traumatized me as a kid.
This is like, speaking of 80s squibs.
Right. Yeah, right?
Bloody little massacre that happens there.
I mean, he is caked with blood.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you feel every hit of the bullets.
Well, that's what De Laurentiis said. You have to cry when Conk dies, right?
I thought about that, actually, that quote, when I was watching this. He's like, I will make you cry.
Are you crying yet?
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I mean, those screams as he's getting just shot to hamburger.
Yeah.
You should definitely feel something.
Yeah, but again, I mean, looking at, you can see sort of like the matte lines or what do you want to, optical sort of stuff around him, and you can see through him and the helicopters. I just can't believe that Star Wars was just months away.
Isn't it amazing? It's I mean, what, like 6 months, half a year? Because this is December. Yeah. Star Wars was May, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Half a year.
Crazy.
That's, as I said earlier, this movie to me is like this vestigial leftover of the blockbusters from that era, like just preceding era.
Mm-hmm.
Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure. It's meant to evoke that.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting too with Justice League and these movies we have now. I mean, we almost take it for granted that now we can do anything.
Yes.
Anything your imagination comes up with, we can create it and put it on screen now. Filmmakers aren't limited by very much.
And this is what I was talking about with the
helicopter.
The helicopter. Yeah, right there. Look at that. That's I don't know. I find that hard to watch a little bit.
Triggering.
I mean, and to your point about you're not limited by anything. I mean, as we record this, Godzilla vs. Kong is out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a movie that 59 years ago was two guys in costumes tossing each other into cardboard buildings.
Right.
And now it's this CGI digital wonderland.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I haven't seen it, but if you want to like tie him up in the Bay Bridge,
yeah,
and undo the cables and tie him up, I mean, you can just your imagination. There's no limit.
Yeah, and that's not inherently a bad thing, obviously, but it is.
No, it's cool.
It's just a testament to how far things have come.
Yeah.
So we have a very similar scene in the Jackson one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And again, it's different.
Which is him falling off of the building.
Yeah, and specifically, the female character, like, watching him die.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different from the 33 one.
Right.
Although he fell down. How did she get down there?
Yeah.
What, did she jump?
Right. And she uses him as a cushion. He's like, oh!
Right.
Why? Yeah. I like this. I mean, it's just not as overt. She feels bad for him now because of what he's been through.
Yeah.
But they didn't have as sweet a connection as in the Jackson one. But this is a good arc.
I agree. I mean, I think, you feel it when she's like, don't put me down.
Yeah.
And it pays off a little bit. Now, again, his heartbeat stops, per the caption. Not quite, per Dino De Laurentiis.
Right.
Because 10 years later, they come back to do King Kong Lives. John Gillerman came back.
Oh.
So I think Rick Baker was like, "Yeah, F off. See you guys later."
Right. Oh, there's that crowd. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of people.
It was like, look at that. And by the way, because this is the Styrofoam Kong.
Yeah.
They were talking about how by the end, people had taken clumps of fur and like his eye was missing.
Oh, really?
It's like, oh, Kong got mugged in New York. Is it? But like, I like this here. Where Jack is trying to get through to her.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's this moment of tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this right here.
And then her getting all the pictures taken that she had wanted.
Yeah, the look on his face, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting moment of texture.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't go to her,
Wait, why do you think that is? I mean, she's not choosing to be in front of those cameras. It's just an ironic, almost so Henry-esque thing where it's like, and now she is famous.
Yeah, right.
As she's like crying and it's dark.
It is dark.
And none of the cameras are trained on the poor,
the ape, yeah,
creature that's been ripped away from its home and then murdered.
So like, why doesn't he go to her, you're saying?
Yeah, why does he stop?
He's an asshole. I mean, obviously. That's a good question. Oh, I gotta point this out. If she had
some sort of... Oh, wait, what?
I gotta point out when the credit comes up here.
Yes.
Right here. Look at this. I wish to acknowledge that Kong has been designed and engineered by Carlo Rambaldi, constructed by Carlo Rambaldi and Grant Robinson. Special contributions by Rick Baker.
Right.
That is some massive bullshit right there.
Right.
And to that point, the only reason Rick Baker even is credited by name is because of that Wall Street Journal report I was telling you about.
Wow. I was going to say, that feels like legal speak, that paragraph. Like they were legally obligated to put that there.
Well, not just that. They're hiding the fact that it's like 97% Rick Baker.
Yeah, yeah.
And, that you read that caption and it's like the exact inversion of what actually is, right?
Right.
Sorry, you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. Well, I was just going to say, if there had been some dark twist where she's running to him, but then they want to take her picture, and then she kind of fixes her hair a little bit, even though she's crying, and then plays it up a little bit for the cameras.
Yeah.
Then I could see him not going to her.
Right.
But I'm not quite sure why he doesn't in this version.
I think for him it's I think he just sees that's not a life like he can be a part of.
Which is what he says in the bar.
Right.
Essentially.
And so it's the realization of that. But yeah, obviously you can't have what you just described because that makes her seem less sympathetic.
Agree. Well, yeah. I mean, that would be the
problem is this makes him seem less sympathetic.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I do like this version, though, with her kind of a wreck.
Yeah.
And then people taking her picture and Kong just completely ignored.
Yeah. It's saying something interesting about sort of society at that moment. And to some extent, not a lot has changed,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they come back 10 years later to do a sequel. Now think about this. We're talking about how this is just a few months before Star Wars. Everything changes. So now you're going to come back after Return of the Jedi and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and Gremlins and just do some shitty friggin' like another guy in a monkey suit movie.
Right.
Talk about misreading the moment.
Yeah.
Right? And Linda Hamilton stars in the sequel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is just a couple of years after Terminator, so she's.
I was gonna say, yeah, plus
she didn't need to do it.
Yeah,
and she said something like, Kong. The great thing about Kong is like it's a legend. Like you get to be part of Kong forever. You can say you were a part of Kong. It's like now you're like, yeah, Linda, you get to say forever you're a part of Kong. King Kong Lives is a terrible movie. Don't watch it, folks. If anything we've had to say sounds remotely intriguing to you about this movie, I would highly recommend seeking it out and watching it from a 1970s perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I hope you enjoyed everything we had to say about this experience. I had fun talking through it, Brian.
I agree, and I was also happy to be exposed to it. I thought, yeah, when you watch it through a 70s lens, I think by and large it pretty much holds up, even in terms of pacing and just film style and adventure and whatnot. I was never bored. I enjoyed it.
It is a stick pin in time, and I think sometimes that's a fun way to look at movies. Like, what does it say about that moment?
Yep.
But I want to thank everybody for listening to this commentary track. We'll be back soon with our next regular episode where we will be talking about Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
When we started on the journey of watching this remake, I had a sense of the stuff Brian, what you'd respond to, just because I know you pretty well.
Yeah. No, I'm curious.
So I have a sense of probably where you're going to land on Godzilla vs. Kong, but I'm looking forward to having that conversation.
I always look forward to that because you're usually pretty spot on.
Well, as we wrap up this episode, as always, please keep your requests and comments coming in. If you want to email us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. Again, with any future commentary requests, we're always ready to hear them. We got some fun stuff coming up later this year. I was just looking at, we've been talking about doing The Rocketeer.
Oh, man. I love that.
And I feel like we got to keep the Ed Lauder love coming.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
But anything else, as always, please go to iTunes and leave a review. Leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. Just add a .com. That's my website. Brian, what are you doing?
Writing for Puppy Dog Pals, which is on Disney, Disney Plus, and Disney Junior.
There you go. And with that, I will bid everyone adieu. Thanks for listening to this commentary, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.